Okay. I believe on your tracking sheet it just says I can solve fraction equations. I included I can solve fraction equations using inverse operations. And it's going to be really key. I'm going to tell you right now, reciprocals, reciprocals, reciprocals. You're going to have to understand reciprocals for this. Okay? And I'll explain this in a second. But our goal when we solve equations, the goal when we solve equations is to get the variable by it. Yeah, we all know that. And we get the variable by itself by using inverse operations. Okay? And then we follow the golden rule of algebra, which is whatever you do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other, because it's so important. If they're equal, we need to make sure we're doing things on both sides. Okay? So if you want to think of it as like a little balance, okay, on both sides. If we multiply by 5 on one side, we have to multiply by 5 on the other to keep it balanced. And that's what it's about. That's why that golden rule comes into play. That's how we can keep the equal sign there the whole time. Okay? So, our goal for 1/4 of x is equal to 2/5. The goal is to get the x all by itself. Okay? What does 1/4 x mean? What does 1/4 x mean? Yeah.
1/4 times x.
Okay, so 1/4 times an unknown number is going to equal 2/5. All right? Now what I want you to do, I just explained how to do it. I'm going to give you a hint. Reciprocals are key. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to try. Everybody's going to try this problem right here in your notebook. See what you get. How many kids remembered? To draw this. Did you draw this? And we do this so that we know whatever you do on one side of this border, you have to do to the other. We got to keep them the same. Okay? Now, our goal is to get x down here all by its lonesome self. If we do that, it makes Mr. Martin happy. So hopefully you drew a little, did you draw a little smiley face when you got x by itself? Okay, what does this x mean? My question to you, what does x mean? Yeah. Well, not what it equals right now, but what does x mean by itself? Yeah. It's a number. Here's the answer that I was looking for. It means 1x. Okay? One group of x, or 1 times x. And keep in mind, 1 times any number is that number, right? So we have 1/4 of x. We want to get 1x. Now, who can remember what is the definition of a reciprocal? Reciprocal are two numbers whose what?
1.
Whose product is 1. Okay? So look at this. If we want to get 1x, let's just multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? 1/4 times 4/1 equals 4/4, or 1. And that's what we want to get, is 1x. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Mr. Martin, you told us that 1/4 times x means we need to divide by 1/4. How many kids are going to argue with me about that? Doesn't this say, well, Mr. Martin, we need to divide by 1/4? Shh. Bingo. He answered it for me. He said dividing by 1/4 is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we just skipped the step of dividing by 1/4 and just saying, let's get it to 1x. Let's just multiply it by its reciprocal. So what we need to do is multiply by 4/1. And do the same thing over here. Multiply by 4/1. Okay? So I'm going to write this so this looks a little bit cleaner for us. Okay? Right here it says 2/5, and we're going to multiply 2/5 by 4/1. Everybody agree? Okay? So we still need to do top times top. 2 times 4 is what, class? 8. 5 times 1 is x is equal to 8/5 or
1 3/5.
or 1 3/5.
This is gonna be easy.
Now watch, we can go back. If you doubt it, let's check our solution. Let's plug this in. Let's put in 8/5 for x. What is 1/4 times 8/5? And it will give you 8/20 if we multiply and then simplify. And then when we divide by 4 on the top and the bottom, we get 2/5. Isn't that what we want? 2/5? So do we get it right? That's the greatest thing about equations, is that we can check our solution into the problem, which I just did up here. 1/4 times x. X is 8/5. 1/4 times 8/5. I got 2/5. That's what they want me to have. I know it's right. Okay? So now I want everybody to try one on their own again. Okay? Okay, question first.
What is the 4?
What do you mean 4 times 4? We multiplied by 4 on both sides. When I take 1/4 times 4, I get 1. So it's one group of x over here. And then because if I did it on one side, I have to do it on the other side. 2/5 times 4/1, or 4. So 2/5 times 4/1 equals 8/5. Does that make sense? I know here's the deal with these problems too, kids. Do you see how I have work here? I have work up here. There's no way we can do all of our work on one line. Okay? It's going to take multiple lines. Look at all the work that I've shown just for one problem. All right. Here's the problem I want you to do. Here's the other one that you could see. X divided by 5 is equal to 1/5. Okay? X divided by 5 is equal to 1/5. All right. X divided by 5 is 1/5. Some of you are going to be so mad at me at this, but look at this. Whatever you do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. 5 times 1 is 5. Or 5 times 1 is 5. So we multiply by 1 on 1 times 1 is, I bet you anything when I get done with this that my x has to be equal to 1. It has to, right? Doesn't 1/5 have to equal 1/5? Okay, now watch. 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 Still waiting for eyes. Still waiting. I'm still waiting for eyes. I'll wait. I'm still waiting for eyes. I'm waiting for everybody to sit up. It's not nap time. All right. Our goal is to get x by itself, right? If we get the x by itself, it makes Mr. Martin happy. Yay. And I really love it when kids take their tests and they have the little smiley face by x. I do. Okay? So this says x divided by 5. Our rule is whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. We want to get rid of divided by 5. What's the opposite of dividing by 5? Yeah. Yeah. So let's multiply this side by 5. And if you do it to one side, we have to do it to the other side. Guess what 1/5 reciprocal is? 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 over 5 is the same thing as 1. There we got it. Now we kept it as, I kept this one easy for you.